Alright, so they did it. The Abbotsford Canucks have won their first ever Calder Cup in franchise history, and all I can say after watching that is I really hope that the big club was watching that game, because that is how you win a championship. Big credit to Charlotte, they're a great team, and heading into the series, they were on an absolute heater, just tearing every team apart. I thought they were the clear favorites, but Abbotsford comes into their arena, wins the first game in overtime. Charlotte comes back in game 2, dominates, and it really seemed like the tides were turning in their favor. Abbotsford had to adjust. They go back to home ice, they win 2 in a row to take a 3-1 series lead, almost win it in game 5. They lose in overtime off of a bad bounce. After coming so close to win it in Game 5's overtime and then losing the way that they did, I'm sure it was a tough pill to swallow for Abbotsford to go back to Charlotte with another chance to win it, but they adapted very well despite a poor start tonight, and the way they committed in that game was very nice to watch. They wanted it so bad, and they thoroughly deserved it. I'm very happy for them. Arturs, Silovs, the rightful MVP of this team. He was the backbone, so reliable, and I really think that after that sort of performance, he's close to making the jump to play full-time at the NHL level. Also, Linus Karlsson and Sammy Blais both deserve shots to make the big club next year. They were fantastic. I love the way that they were playing out there. But to tell you the truth, the whole team was great. I could go down the list of names. The guys like Kudryavtsev, Klimovich, Baines, Sasson, and the rest of the guys all deserve their credit. Let's jump into the game, starting off with the first period of play. The start was rough for Abbotsford going back to the Bojangles Arena. It's pretty crappy conditions, and obviously Charlotte was going to be fired up to play in front of their home fans once again, and they get on the score sheet very early here. It's a shot here, and it gets by Silovs' short side. That one scored by John Leonard, the top scorer on the checkers, and they go up 1-0. After that, a 2-on-1 here, and these two rookies on Charlotte pass it back and forth. They stretch out Silovs, and he's unable to get it. It goes through his 5-hole, and it's a 2-0 lead for Charlotte early on. After that goal, though, Abbotsford seemed to calm down a little bit. They were getting their legs, getting some chances, and then they get themselves a pretty fortunate bounce. A stick whacked out of the air, and it goes out for delay of game. So Abby gets a power play, and on that ensuing power play, it's Sammy Blais who walks in and rips a shot over the glove side of Kaapo Kähkönen as he carves into the Charlotte lead, makes it a 2-1 game heading into the first intermission. Early scramble in front, Kähkönen makes a nice save, but then Danila Klimovich, amongst all the chaos, finds the puck, takes a shot, it pinballs its way into the back of the net, and the Abbotsford Canucks have tied it. Look, it doesn't matter how you score them, because they all count at the end of the day. On the other end, Silovs is making some nice saves to keep the score tied up, and then it's the Abbotsford Canucks after a lengthy shift in the offensive zone. Baines gets the puck, spins it over to Karlsson, who's been money all playoffs long, and he gets the go-ahead to give the Abbotsford Canucks their first lead of the game. After that, in the dying seconds of the second period, it's Skoog on Charlotte, who's one-on-one with Silovs, but he makes a great save to keep the Canucks up going into the third period of play. Sasson early on a 2-on-1 has a great chance to make the score 4-2, but he is robbed twice by Kähkönen, who does well to keep his club in it. After that, it's Arturs Baines who cuts in, has a break, he makes a nice move, but just can't get the puck by Kähkönen. On the other end, it's desperate times for Charlotte, but the Abbotsford Canucks are laying their bodies on the line, doing whatever it takes to keep the puck out the net. And after a couple of major scares, close chances, the Abbotsford Canucks are able to drain the clock, and they officially win their first ever cup in history. Look, it might not be the Stanley Cup, but I do not care. I will take anything at this point. And after a very rough year for Canucks Nation, it's nice that it was ended off with something positive, and perhaps something to build off of for next season. You know that these guys that are coming up are going to be motivated to try and push for a spot with the Vancouver Canucks. I cannot wait to see what that looks like come training camp this upcoming season. But yeah, with that, we are officially in the off season, so tons of coverage. A lot of videos coming your way, so be on the lookout. Thank you all so much for watching. Check out Midday Squares with the link in the description down below for 15% off your final order. Subscribe if you're new. Peace out, and take care.